We are here tonight with a special co-host here sitting in tonight, Oliver Anthony. How you doing, Oliver? Hey, this is Paul, and this is the Riffs and Rhythms podcast, and
I'm doing all right.
all right, you look a little different from what I've seen you on the internet, though.
Yeah, the camera adds 10 pounds.
Is that what it is?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be.
No, but seriously, we've got Mike. If you guys remember the episode there, he is our first song review that we did here a couple episodes back ago now. So yeah, thanks for jumping on here. We got our first guest co-host of the show here. So we're trying all new things here, and we've also got behind the cameras and running all the sound and AV equipment there, Mr. Brad Brock there. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah, so again, this is all our partner show. Check out Brad's show, Jams and Cocktails. Again, we're all one big weird family of stuff. But yeah, before we start drinking and having a good time here, so again, we're doing a little drinking tonight here, Inversion Vodka. They're 8 times distilled there from our friends over at House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits there. So check them out there. If you're a bar or a restaurant, go and hit them up. The boutique distillery give you all the support and sales stuff that you need there, and then we're drinking a little bit of that vodka tonight, though. But I got some stuff for you there too,
Ooh.
so you can kind of keep your stuff. Oh, I threw it there, and he didn't catch it. A little bit of some koozie action there. They kind of hide our red Solo cups there. We're gonna spruce up our bougie, or what they call it, rednecky glasses there, red Solo cups there. So
Just because you said the word bougie, my buddies and I are working on a trap country song right now called Bougie on a Budget, and it's all about being broke but trying to have a great party time.
Did we just get an exclusive? I
Maybe.
think we just got an exclusive from Mike into his song. So cheers, Mike there. Glad to have you on as our first guest host there. So yeah, how's things been going here lately? I know that when we premiered your song there on that episode there. My understanding, you became really popular overnight because of that YouTube video in our episode there. So tell us about what is Fame and Fortune like after being on the Riffs and Rhythms.
So I posted that video of the original, I'd Rather Have It That Way, and I've written a good amount of originals. I'm working on an EP right now with some friends of mine, and after your review of it, I posted your review onto Facebook, and I have a friend who opened for Sugarland a couple of times back in the day, and he's much more talented than I am. And he texted me, he said, you need to copyright that before someone takes it. So because of the Riffs and Rhythms podcast, I went ahead and copywrote.
Yep.
8 out of the 13 originals that I have recorded right now off of iPhone videos. So that is what Fame and Fortune has brought me. It has brought me a $85 U.S. Library of Congress bill, but the copyrights for my songs.
There you go. So all right, Mike. So we're learning and teaching musicians to protect your shit. That's actually what it comes down to, right? Yeah. So Brad knows. Again, he's got a lot of stuff. He was our review last week. I think he's holding back his thoughts on our review here. So he's going to be, from my understanding, he's going to be posting a retraction video and editorial on our review.
I'm just happy to be here.
If you feed him booze and boozy cupcakes, he's happy.
One of those YouTube feuds, Brad posts a serious picture of himself for the cover photo, and it says, "My response to Riffs and Rhythms coming after my song."
That's probably going to happen.
I hope it happens, actually. Better not be clickbait.
You click it and it's just Brad making a drink.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, what the hell? It's like, oh, we got cocktails in this episode, not the jams. But yeah, thanks for coming on here, being our guest co-host again. And really cool. We're kind of doing different things. At some point, Kevin and I talked about, exactly this, doing something like this where we may need to fill in, something comes up. So definitely, we miss you, Kevin, there. Take care of what you need to take care of there. But yeah, we've talked about doing this or live streaming at some point or, kind of branching out a little bit things. It's, again, baby steps. We don't go too crazy. We don't take ourselves too serious on the show. And as you probably all know, but definitely, so check hanging out here. So you were telling me before we started taping, you're like, hey, Paul, I'm actually started out in rhythm. So so is this the rhythm and rhythm or riff and rhythms but you do a little bit of both there. So
So
yeah.
I started playing the drums, and that was my first like introduction to instruments. And then I got to college, or I got to middle school, and I wanted to do band and choir, and they were like, "Well, you can only choose one." So I chose band originally, and then made an exception so I could do both, which was great. I started playing tuba, and I've done blues jams where I've just played tuba instead of a bass. So I've been a very prominent rhythm guy for a very long time, and I picked up guitar mainly once COVID hit, because before that I knew a couple chords and never really played it. So COVID was the reason I got into the riff side of things, but before that I was all rhythm.
So you've only been playing guitar for maybe about 4 years.
Actually playing, yes, outside of knowing maybe 2 or 3 chords, yeah.
Wow, hey, dude, that's real serious dedication. And I mean, you can only during a pandemic, you can only do so much watching of OnlyFans, I guess, right? In between, the reload, you got to do something, right? So, which you're a young guy, so you probably, anyway, we're not going to get too far into fucking really bizarro. Brad's over there busting. But yeah, no. So, when you're playing tuba, were you playing lead tuba?
Actually, I was out of the 3 chairs that were possible because of there were only 3 of us in the middle school band. I was third chair. And then in high school, I played tuba for my freshman year, and I was also on the drum line my freshman year of high school. And then I dropped out of band and went all in on chorus. And I got to college, and my best friend Derek Nangle, shout out if he ever watches this. Hopefully, I'm gonna send it to him, so he's gonna watch it. But he he was talking with the jazz band professor, who was also the basketball band professor, who's a really cool guy. He does a bunch of gigs over in Fort Myers still. Um, and I overheard them talking about how their main tuba person's not going to be there tonight, so they just need him. It's just going to be Derek tonight. And I was like, I play tuba. Do you have an extra one? And he's like, can you sight read? Now it's been six-ish years since I probably picked up a tuba, at least 4. And sure enough, he gave me the music, and then I went in the practice room for like 3 hours and remembered how to re-taught myself how to play. And then from there on out for the next 2 years, I was in the basketball band playing sousaphone.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So
I want one so badly. If you ever see one on Marketplace, send it to me. I will try my
Sure.
best to make it work.
I see them all the time actually. So I don't know how you're not seeing it on Marketplace, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I want one
you're
so
not-
badly.
You may not have the right filter turned on. So yeah, no, I was actually joking about whether you play lead tuba or not. So do you tuba solo?
I can, depending on what it is. I
Okay.
can't.
I don't know. I'm just making sure because
yeah.
look, I'd love to kind of make you. I think Kevin and I would love to make you a permanent, member of the show, but riffs, rhythms, and tuba just doesn't. I don't think quite a fit, And plus, Brad's not going to do another free logo for us to change the name of the name of the logo. So
AI.
I guess that's true.
Sorry,
yes.
Brad, you're out of the
Yeah,
job.
there you go. That's it. We've replaced your job. So yeah, no, it's cool. So yeah, no, so you got some songs you're gonna lock down. You just said so that's really great. Again, so if you live in the Treasure Coast area, South Florida area, come out and check out. And I'm gonna screw up your name because everyone tells me don't mispronounce his name. Faurot.
That's correct.
It's not Faurot.
No, it's not.
It's Faurot.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So check out Mike Faurot. So, and where are a couple of places that you play at there?
So every single Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4, I play Island Rada Brewery in Fort Pierce. And every Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., I play Cafe Marnier in downtown Stewart. Outside of that, it really just depends on the night of the week, the time of year, and where I can get myself in.
Okay, so let me. I'm sorry, because I just had a brain thing here, just kind of popped in my head here. So again, maybe ask you both, you guys, because you both, Brad, you and Mike, are playing a lot of the similar places, a similar area here in South Florida. And as you're just kind of running through some of the places you play at, do you feel that the money you are paid to perform or to play a gig is to cover you're being paid to play music and perform, or also to promote? I know it's a kind of an interesting conversation topic about, venues want you to promote, how many people can you bring in, but you guys do, are, play a little bit different than a full band setting where places want you to push and promote. The reason why I asked that question is because what you said there, Mike, was talking about Almirada, and we were joking a little bit before the show about getting some swag, throw the guy a fucking t-shirt, Almirada. Come on, I'll say it, not him, so he doesn't get in trouble. Throw him some swag. He'll wear whatever people get. I'm the same way. Give me some free stuff, I'll wear it. But do you feel that talking about it, promoting your shows, that you are also helping promote the venue, right? Is that kind of like an unwritten kind of thing? Because to me, I'm like, you're giving a free plug for the venue.
Oh, well, I'll take point on that one. So it really depends on the venue and the relationship that you have with them. Most of the places I play, have their own group of people that come in regularly. So with that being said, my job is to entertain them, keep them happy, and not necessarily be background music, but I am performing for their clientele. There are other places that I play that kind of do expect, or they're just starting. So it's that old adage, how many people can you bring? I avoid those places because the truth is I play a lot of shows in the same area, and it's very hard to get people out to one show, in the middle of the week. So I know what I do in terms of promotion. Social media, absolutely. You put a post out, you try to get some people out there, and yes, to your point, Paul, it is by proxy promoting that venue. Mm-hmm. So you are putting the name of that venue in all the eyes of the people that follow you on social media, and I think that's about as far as it needs to go for most of the bar restaurant type places as a soloist. Bands, kind of a different bag. You come with a bigger price tag, and there's more people to kind of take on that promotive, thing.
Okay.
And typically bands play on Fridays and Saturdays, and they don't play as often. So it's, I feel like it really depends on the product that you're serving up.
Okay. So yeah, I always I struggle with some of those things of doing the podcast or brands or things. It's like promoting. Everybody wants a shot out of it. Again, everyone's struggling, everyone's clawing, and whether it's small businesses or spirits companies or whatever they may be, and it's like, how do you have it mutual that you feel like you have the podcast, and we'll talk a little bit because I know you've got one too, but our podcast, it's a vehicle for a entity to kind of be out there, right? So you are in a sense getting a free promotion, free plug to go to Joe's bar or whatever case may be, right? So yeah, it was just kind of interesting. I just thought you guys, interested. As the more I do some of this stuff, I think more what am I leaving on the table? What am I giving away for free, right? I don't know. So
what are your thoughts, Mike?
So we were just talking about Islamorada. When I was first starting out, all I played was my fiance's shop and Roasted Record in downtown Stewart, but that's because I've known the owner for years. So it was like, she gave me, I told her I just play for tips, and I would just play there for tips. And then I was friends with some of the people at Islamorada already, and I text Katie one day. I was like, hey, is there any way I could play? And they said, well, not right now. We'll see once we get our liquor license and all that. So a couple months go by, I start playing actual gigs. I started getting booked around for some place. I ran into Will and started playing Tipsy Tiki and all that stuff. And then they were finally ready. And it turned in from one Sunday every couple weeks to every Sunday. And I've done that for the past 2 years. And just recently it got moved to every Saturday and Sunday during the off season. And I don't know how long it's going to continue for, but at least for the off season now, which I love playing there every Sunday. It's very nice. I'm basically family with all those people. I've gone out with the people that work there before. I've come on my days off to go hang out.
Wait, you go out with people? I thought you were married.
I'm engaged. I meant go out with the people.
Sorry. I just want to make sure you're clear. So.
Yeah, sorry. Let me clarify. I go out with the people.
I'm just
in
looking out
big
for you.
groups.
I'm
big
just
groups.
looking out for you, man.
Yeah.
You're an attorney.
But yeah, no, I love being there. I love being a part of that. And what Brad was going back to the conversation. Sorry, was that when I post about it, I've met people from there, and I've gotten other gigs. For instance, before I started playing Hop Life, there was a group of people that came out who saw me at Islamorada. They booked me for a private party like that same day, and then while they were just out shooting the shit at Hop Life, they mentioned me to the owner, and then I was in there a couple months later, and that's word of mouth has gotten me a long way. And now they joke that they're my groupies because they come out to Islamorada every couple weeks with their whole group of 12, 15 people.
If you can lock in a group like that, dude, you are definitely, because you create the following. I know there's a band here in the Jupiter area, West Palm area, I think, Brad, 56 Ace, and they have an amazing following. They definitely play a lot of good tempo music. Now, again, it's cover music. I don't think they do originals, but then again, that's a lot of people want to listen to. It's great that you guys get to slide in a little bit of your original stuff here and there, too.
And those guys and their wives and their kids come out to my other gigs, too. They don't just come to Island Rada, so... It's fun. It's a good time. Every time they come, I have to play Firework and I have to play Sweet Caroline. At the private party that I was at, one of the guys in that group decided to dress like Charlie Chaplin and had a little too much to drink. And he tripped and fell over the cooler while I was playing Sweet Caroline. So it was bum, bum, boom. And he was on the ground.
Please, is there a video of that?
I'm sure I could find it.
Oh, there's got to be, man.
Oh, either I have it or Tony has it or some. I love them. Though. They're all
TikTok
awesome.
worthy.
They're all awesome people.
So yeah, so that's pretty. It's an interesting kind of thing there. Brad and I were talking about earlier today about Jimmy Buffett and the Margaritaville Empire. With his passing, does it continue? And we were saying that's it. If you can figure out how to cult people into following you, like the Dead, right? The Dead or Fish Now or whatever. Maybe Jimmy Buffett's got the Paraheads, and if you can create a cult following,
The 4 O's.
You definitely can, get a lot of that. That's going to continue your success and, keep you busy because you're providing something people didn't, people like being part of something, and it's, that's great that you got a little following there that's kind of, looking out for you, kind of offering up and kind of keeping an eye there. So definitely, that's really cool. So yeah, so we'll talk here at the end of the show about some of your upcoming shows, plugs, etc. Though, just real quick there, your podcast. What's your podcast?
So my buddy Devin, I was telling you earlier about the sound guy, it's his podcast. I'm just the occasional co-host and annoyance of his. And every episode I'm on, I don't even remember them. They're such pipe dreams because it just goes off the rails so quickly. But it's called Ghost on the Aux. It's a not family-friendly show, but it's hilarious. If you ever want to listen to it, like I said, we start on one topic, and by the end, we're on a completely different realm. So it's always a good time. Yeah, Ghost on the Aux.
All right, so then check it out. So where can they check it out?
Apple Podcasts,
all the big
Spotify, all of them.
Yep. YouTube.
We just started doing videos.
Okay.
Video footage as well. So if you want to see Devin or Trey's semi-beautiful faces, you can watch it on there. I haven't been on video yet, so the cameras still work. I'm surprised yours hasn't broke yet. So we'll see. We'll give it a couple
I'm
more
not
minutes.
sure because I can't see in the other side of the camera there.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so there's no guarantee of that actually happening for sure. So, so very cool. So yeah, check out. Yeah, you're like man of many talents here. So we're not going to get too far into your whole personal life there, because again, if you want to learn more about Oliver Anthony, go to his Wikipedia page. But yeah, so again, a couple things we're going to talk about here. We're going to do a song review here. A fellow, I guess I can consider myself part of this, is a fellow performer with this person that we're going to do a song review of. So again, if you have followed Jams and Cocktails, and if you watch the episode of the St. Patty's episode, the three of us and the two other accomplices were part of a little impromptu Irish kind of band, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Irish accent was so bad.
I thought it was pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, it was. We were talking again earlier about this. It was a pretty cool little jam session. Kind of very impromptu, very organic. A couple songs. Again, everyone trying to read notes beforehand. It kind of came in, and it really shows, I think, the musicianship of you guys to be able to kind of pick up and just trying to be able to jump in like an open mic, open jam sesh, right? I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in the corner. Brad
Having a good time.
Brad put Baby in the corner. I'm banging on my box, and but I think the mic did pick up pretty good on the.
It did.
That sounded great, man.
Yeah, so I think
And Brad with the recorder too. I haven't heard someone play a recorder since third grade. That was pretty impressive.
He killed it
Yeah,
there.
that
So
was
I
impressive.
think he needs to give up the guitar and all that drum stuff and just do like a Yanni kind of. You should just do one whole. Just see how it goes. Do you have an upcoming April 1st date? Dude, come out and bust out and just kind of have your setup
recorder and the
do
drums.
like, okay, it's the second set, and just see what the reaction is.
Yeah, no, I'm totally into that. And I think
April Fools.
maybe April for reals.
Yeah.
I was so jacked up after playing the recorder that I decided to buy the whole set of recorders. So I have
Did you really?
have a baritone recorder coming all the way up to these little the real high pitched ones. The whole set.
Riffs, rhythms, and recorders.
Triple R.
Right, triple R. So, oh yeah. So we definitely had a lot of fun there. So we're gonna do a review of Mike
LuBecke.
Right. Sorry, I always want to pronounce it differently. So, man, you guys got difficult names to pronounce here. So it's not like I went to school or something. Yeah. Then we're gonna talk about that. You're gonna give us a little MVP, your MVP of the week, and then, but we're gonna first go ahead and jump right into here. Is obviously we're gonna talk a little bit about riffs, right? So obviously this is mostly supposed to be a music show with a lot of tomfoolery. But yeah, so there is a list of songs out there, top 5, or top songs here for. Hold on, I have to log back in. Top songs riffs right here. So this is a list I pulled from the old Googs, and so from this list, Mike, we're gonna go through. I'll read off the list here, but give me your top 5 in this list here, in particular order here.
In this list.
Yeah, so I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read it out loud. You kind of think about it there. So on the list here is Deep Purple, Smoke in the Water, classic freaking riff song, right? Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love, another one. Rolling Stones, Satisfaction. Yeah, again, the Riffmeister, Mr. Keith Richards. Queen, We Will Rock You. The White Stripes, Seven Nation Army. Dude, I wish I wrote that song because that Jack White's making bank because that song's played everywhere, especially sporting arenas and stadiums. Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good. And then last on this here is Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. So again, for those of you who know, mostly this is a rock stuff. There's probably a lot of other probably genres there that may have a riff in there, but mostly rock. When we talk about riff, it's mostly rock and roll music, R&B kind of stuff. So you see the list here, Mike. What do you hear? What is your number 5 here? Remember, so you want to go. Number 1's going to be your top song that you're rating here. So number 5 is your lowest on that list here. Out of that, I just gave you there. So.
All right. So my background, obviously, with the music I do is mostly country and blues. So I'm not a big rocker, but I've listened to all these songs.
Okay.
I have some outside of this that I think shouldn't be on this list, but Google's Google and Google's God, apparently. So anyway, my number 5, it's just because it's so iconic, is probably going to just be Smoke on the Water, just because that's the one that everyone knows no matter what you do, where you go, what age you are.
And probably out of any song anybody picks up the guitar is probably the first song you probably learn to play because it's one of the simplest chords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all right. So number 5, you agree with that, Brad? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So number 5 is Smoke in the Water. Okay. Who's your number 4?
Oh. See, I know my number 1 off the top of my head, so
Okay.
I'm trying to now I'm trying to make everything else go. I would probably say Seven Nation Army would be a good number 4, just because that's another one that everyone knows.
Yeah. Okay. And again, that's another super simple song, right? And again, hell, that's White Stripes are only 2 musicians, right? Riff and rhythms. But yeah, so that's definitely a simple. That song can be a little bit complex too, but the riff in it really is very pronounced there. Doom. Well, actually, no, that's actually
Doom, doom, doom,
Yeah.
doom, doom.
Right.
Doom.
So isn't that mostly? Is that how do they play that baritone? We talked about your episode, your song that you played. Was that a baritone guitar?
That's a bass guitar.
So he's playing a bass guitar on that song?
Yeah.
Like a 5-string or something, maybe?
I mean, just a 4-string, maybe a little bit of distortion on there.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So number 4 is Seven Nation Army.
So my number 3 I have, but I'm curious as to what the riff in question is.
Oh, okay.
So my number 3 is We Will Rock You, but I'm assuming it's talking about where it switches from the boom boom clap to the that whole section, because before it's just mostly the boom boom da dun dun da, and then it gets into that riff. So it's not like a big establishing riff of here's the song.
Yeah, that would probably be my number 5 because I feel like
It's mostly a rhythm.
the rhythm is
Yeah,
what makes
right.
that
Yeah.
tune.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So, all right. So
That would be my number 3.
you want to shuffle it back down? Are you-
No, that's still my number 3.
Still number 3 is okay. So We Will Rock You by Queen. Okay. So who's your number 2?
My number 2, I completely forgot to include "Smells Like Teen Spirit" on there. Oh well. My number 2 is probably "Sweet Child of Mine," just because that is iconic. There's like you're hearing it, and you know, Step Brothers scene. That's all that's in my head every time I hear that. The with like the kids and everything.
So was that when they were doing? Isn't that was Slash's little warm up lick? Is that this how the story goes?
Oh man, that story was debunked.
What?
Yeah, not true.
Oh wow.
He during an interview, and I you know Google it because I don't know what interview, but he heard the rumor and dispelled it and said it, you know, like it was a riff that he came up with.
Okay.
And was not part of a warm up.
Wow. Talk about internet rumors. Just like the internet rumor that we have Oliver Anthony on our show. All right. So number 1. Who's your number 1 there?
My number 1, and it's the song that got me to want to learn how to play guitar. Like this song is I've spent countless hours trying to get this damn riff down, and I still mess it up every time I try and play it. Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry.
Really?
And when I do my gigs, I play at the end of my first set, I do Johnny Be Good. And when I start my second set, I open with Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Okay.
And I play Johnny Be Good in D and Devil in D minor.
Oh, then you're definitely going to hell then.
Whoa.
I don't know. Is that the devil chord or something? I don't know. I play the drums. So I have no idea what that means.
I don't know. But that's just my that's
interesting. No, that's interesting. Again, I think it's a kind of an interesting part is that yes, Chuck Berry again. Without him, some of these guys would never, you know, kind of be or the influence, right? And we always talk a lot about how did somebody who you look at what influenced them to become who they are today. And okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that Johnny Be Good is definitely my number 1. I mean, just the bends on it too, and you think about like Stevie Ray Vaughan is another great blues guitarist, and he bends those strings like no one else. But the person that, at least in my opinion, who really kind of got the bends going was guys like you have Buddy Guy, Muddy Water, and then you have Chuck Berry, who just came out and was like, hey, we can bend fast too. Watch.
So do you play that song on the acoustic?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
I mess the riff up all the time, so I usually do like the first little, like the and I just go right to chords. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this some more because I'm either gonna.
So that's yeah. Again, you left on the table there, Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones. That's actually interesting. Do you think that some of it is maybe because, as you mentioned, you're mostly influenced by country music?
Oh, yeah.
Or
For sure.
Okay.
Oh no, these are all really great songs. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever listened to a whole lot of Love. But I'm also Gen Z and raised on country.
All right, we won't hold it. We won't hold it against you. That's okay. So we're trying to branch into the Gen Z market because usually there's 2 old guys that are sitting behind this table here. But all right, well that's fair enough there. So again, I think it's a lot of songs again for most people already know are definitely defined. The Nirvana one, yeah, I guess I can hear that. Again, you wouldn't think Kurt Cobain's really was kind of a guitar person, but he did write some really interesting kind of songs and so forth. And surprised too is like I said, the Led Zeppelin and the but again, just how what your exposure and influence by so too. So all right, well there you have it. This is Mike Faurot's top 5 guitar riffs. Again, he's got other ones, so check out our Patreon there. We get the other half of the list there if we actually had a Patreon page. So, but what were you going to say?
I was going to say number 5 was Smoke on the Water. Number 4 was Smells Like Teen Spirit. No, wow,
Oh,
Seven Nation Army. I'm messing up already. Number 3 was We Will Rock You. But that again, I feel like that one could have been switched out with either Smells Like Teen Spirit or something else, just because that it's mostly rhythm. Like the riff on that doesn't really come until the end. Number 2 was Sweet Child of Mine, and number 1 was Johnny Be Good.
All right,
So that's just me. That's subjective.
So
Obviously, I'm 100% right no matter what.
So send all your hate mail to Mike Faurot at
music@gmail.com. I'll take it.
There you go. Hey man, any press is bad press there. So for sure. So all right, well, cool. So yeah, so that's again a little fun there. Again, I know we're trying to play around. So maybe the next show we'll do put whoever it is on the hot seat, or maybe myself. Top 10 drum fills. That are out there too. So
In the air tonight.
well, what's funny is that is up there. But I'll tell you this, and I don't know if you know this song. I'm pretty sure Brad knows this one. So yeah, I caught this on the radio the other day and on the local classic rock station, and the song is "I Don't Care Anymore."
I don't care anymore.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so good.
You know, I mean, it's almost better than Again, in the air tonight's been so much
Overplayed.
You know, but if you listen to and I don't care anymore. It's the thundering and drums and so forth. It's definitely So,
and I would argue, like, if you wanted a rock one to put on there, Eye of the Tiger is great. Mississippi Queen is great. There's so many awesome rhythms that you can put up and riffs.
Yeah. So to mention the comments there, what is your top riff song that is the riff that is like the one you think of when you hear that song and so forth.
And why is it Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry?
Oh, okay.
Tell us what yours is, and then explain why it's Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry.
And so not only just tell us, but show up to one of Mike's show and get up right in his face and tell him. That's how he wants you to relay this. Don't go to the YouTube comments for that one. Go right to his show and tell it to his face. Actually scream it at him after drinking like 5 beers, because that actually will make
Wouldn't be the
better.
first time I've had someone do something like that.
He'll listen to you even more, too, if you do that. So,
oh, yeah, especially the more times you yell for me to play Freebird, the more times I might just play it in one set.
We actually did. It was funny. It's like I was playing in the band there up in your all's neck of the woods, and this is probably almost 5 years. Oh shit, almost 7 years now.
I was a sophomore in high school,
dude. Don't make me feel old, bro. We were playing, and again, this is a little throwback again. And I don't think it's named this anymore, but we were playing at Neely's in Port St. Lucie. And
Neely's Grog House.
That is
Where
correct.
is that, Brad?
That is right.
I think it's called the Pip Shay now or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So we were waiting to come back in between sets, and on the jukebox or the music was, Freebird, and it was. We just came in and started playing the second half of the song. Like kind of like the Queen song, like it kind of like starts out slow and then it kind of rocks up. We started playing the second half of the song that, probably everybody likes to hear Freebird. Everyone kind of swaying around. But no, we're going to play the second half of the song where it actually does the whole rocked up version of it. So I guess technically we do get credit for playing Freebird at a show, even though you're not supposed to play.
I play it all the time, but you see, I just keep it slow the whole time. It's the same tempo as If I Leave Here Tomorrow, the entire song. I just don't pick it up. If you want to hear it that bad, you heard it.
Well, that's kind of, for sure, right? And when you play solo, you can have a lot more. You can kind of control some of that stuff and kind of so forth. But no, yeah, I mean, it's always great to see musicians take a song and kind of make it something a little different, make it their own. And obviously, we'll have to. I haven't got a chance to come out and check.
I forget the genre of the song I'm playing, and I start something country, end it ska, or I start something rock and I end it blues. It depends on the song, and it depends on where my mind is.
Is this where your ADD kicks in that you forget what you're doing?
It's so bad. It's so bad. I started gosh, what was I playing the other day? I started playing.
It was so well that he actually forgot. So
I started playing something. And I started singing a different song halfway through, and I just didn't even remember what song I started with. And I was just like, well, here I am.
Wasn't you were playing like, Warren Zevon, Werewolf in London, and started playing, what's that, Leonard Skinner, Kid Rock mashup songs that they do. Do you ever hear that?
Oh, yeah, all summer long.
Summer long,
yes. Yeah. So
well,
I actually mash them all up when I play.
Yeah. Werewolves in London all summer long, and Sweet Home Alabama all at once.
Yes, that's it. Yep. So, all right, well, cool. So, I had a little fun there with a little riff action there. So, I think we're going to jump into our review here. So, again, let me go ahead and set this up here for us to see.
While he's pulling that up, the episode in question that we were talking about earlier of Jams and Cocktails is exactly what happens when you get a blues musician, a country musician, and a hard rock pseudo metal musician to do Irish jigs. And a yacht rock is yacht rock a good way to?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
And a yacht rock musician together to play Irish jigs, and it is chaos in the best way possible. And 20 out of 20, you should check that out after this. Don't click away for this. If you do, I will never listen to your number one song, which is Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good, if you come out to my show.
You know, actually, the more we drank, the more we sounded better.
I was sober the whole time.
So, okay.
I just sounded like crap the whole time.
Thanks for, well, okay, then. So, yeah. All right. Anyway, let's segue into our review here. So, this is Mexico, performed by Mike LuBecke and the Hogtown Packing Company. So, we're going to have to ask him a little bit more, dive into that name, the band, and so forth there. So this is a song that he had put up there for review. So do you know anything about the song or anything, or a little background?
No, not really. One story I will share with Mike LuBecke, back around Christmas time last year, I got a text from one of the workers at Hop Life, and they're like, "Hey, can't wait to see you tonight," because I was talking to them about other dates. And it was Mike LuBecke who was scheduled to play. I didn't think I was playing, but I showed up because I was like, "Oh crap! I guess I'm playing." So we showed up, and there just happened to be a private party on the patio. So me and Mike both showed up, and we were talking, and I was like, "Oh crap! Now what?" And the owner was like, "Well, there's a private party out here, so you stay out here." And Mike went inside and played for the regular crowd. So inside you had Mike doing his stuff, and outside you had me singing Christmas songs to a private party for 3 hours, and it was a good time. That's how me and Mike met.
Can you imagine, like, you guys switched up between sets? You went outside and inside, kind of like, yeah, this is yeah. It's like, wait a minute, aren't those guys two different guys? So I thought you were gonna say that. Yeah, you got mistaken. You showed up, and people were like, that does not look like Mike LuBecke.
That's what happened. That's what the other bartender said. She's like, "You're not Mike LuBecke," and I was like, "No, I'm Mike Faurot."
I had an operation to make myself look younger. No offense, Mike. We're just giving you shit. So.
I didn't have.
I don't think it's
hair
obvious, right? Yeah,
I didn't have facial hair, so he had a goatee. I had baby face.
That's right. So this is what a lot of Mike, and Mike. That's almost what the name of that band should have been. Like Mike, Kevin, Brad, and Paul. I don't know, something like that. All right, so here we go. So this is Mexico, performed, like I said, by Mike LuBecke and the Hogtown Packing Company here. So let's give us a little listen. Or maybe not. It was working before. Where's Kevin to yell at me for always?
There you go. Nope. I like that little pause there. That was
yeah. I wasn't expecting that. A-Rock just went up.
I would groove to this in any bar if it was playing. Windows down, sunroof open, cigar, country road, and this song.
I feel like I'm on a beach with a margarita down in Mexico,
Shaking up,
smoking a big doobie.
Two different kinds of people.
Yeah, the energy is great. Yeah, again, I think it's one of those. I could see a lot of people singing this, right? I mean, again, more people knew the song and so forth. Yeah, like almost like a Margaritaville kind of, Jimmy Buffett kind of style, right?
I could see, like, if I was sitting at a restaurant or a bar and I heard this song come on, especially if it was a live band, I could see me and Sam getting up and dancing to this in a heartbeat. Like, this is just one of those songs where, like, I'm jamming out sitting here. There's no way I would be able to not stand up and dance if there was a crowd.
Because you're doing, as we told Jake Walden, we're watching his video and song. It's like the white people bounce, right? You know.
Yeah, the white people bounce. I like the hi-hat, 16ths or 30 seconds, whatever they are. While he's talking about train tracks, you hear that chicka, chicka, chicka. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice touch.
This is, he's got a little bit of a, I'm just, again, trying to give people a comparison there. Thinking is a vibe like a Counting Crows.
Definitely has some like 90s alternative or 90s like Sister Hazel.
Yeah.
Counting Crows type of vibe. Yeah, for sure. Hootie and the Blowfish even.
There we go. That's one I know.
Only because he went country. All right, so there you have it there. So that is Mike LuBecke and performed by the Hogtown Packing Company there. So check it out on his YouTube page there and probably elsewhere available.
Yeah, he said the other day that all of his music is on YouTube. It's all free on YouTube. I subscribe to him. I'm number 22.
All right, and there you go. So... All right, so here we go. So again, let's unpack the song. As part of our review here, is it the riff or the rhythm that makes the song here, right? And again, I always argue the fact that it is, the riff is just one part of the song. The rhythm is not just the drums, even though, we don't have a bass player in here. But again, the rhythm part, right? That, I always argue that makes people move, right? So I do hear a good little riff in there. I like the kind of the that part. I definitely think, listening to the full complement of everything that comes together, does the rhythm section move the song along?
I'm gonna just go out and just because I commented on it. I commented on it earlier. When he was talking about the railroad tracks, when the guitar and everything went out, and it was just the drums. That 16th. While he's talking about railroad tracks is really cool,
right?
And
it was a great tie into effect.
Yeah,
what you're saying, right?
exactly.
You're talking about the train and the hi-hats make the chugga chugga.
So I'm gonna just say the rhythm is the key to that song. That was a solid banger of a song right there.
Yeah,
in my kid slang.
There
That was a solid banger of a song.
In the Gen Z speak, was it turnt? Is that a right word to use?
That was straight up fi, dog.
Oh, fi. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't say fire because they're lazy. They say fi.
That's it.
No cap, full show.
I have to agree here, and I know maybe Mike I know Mike put the song up for review, and I know Mike's the guitar player also. Again, this is some of his music, but for the show here, right? Again, we're putting up the full complement of the song. I do agree the rhythms made the song. I know there's that little bit of that riff, that lick. The kind of part in there, but again, what really drove the song was the rhythm, right, in that song. And again, I like that breakdown part, as you mentioned there, with the drums there to kind of keep it going. But that was with the driving force of that song, right?
Yeah, and Mike said to us the other day about how he plays a little bit of everything too. So I mean, you got to respect both the riff and the rhythm of that song. But I just love a good hi hat, especially when I play Folsom blues. I know it's a completely different style, but having that little while you're playing something like that, I like it. I think that was sick. That was great.
So let me tell you real quick here, a little quick story here. So all right, so again, we're gonna before I tell my story is that we're gonna conclude that the song "Mexico" by Michael LuBecke is the rhythms.
Brad, do you have a counter to that?
I would like to say that song is for the rhythms on God.
Oh.
On God, no cap, faux show?
Faux show.
Wow.
Fi, dog, fi.
Listen to these young'uns. All right, so there we go. So we have it. So
no op.
Mike, you've got the rhythms on your song here or there. So I'm sure Kevin may have kind of try to really push hard for the riff on this, but again, I think again, Mike's already stated or right off the bat he did start on drums first. But Kevin would have probably told you it's only because you probably is easier just to beat on stuff than actually try to play guitar.
Correct.
All right, so my quick story here is about you talk about the Johnny Cash and the Folsom Blues and the Chugga Chugga. So Kevin and we went up to Memphis back in January for the blues competition, right? And we went to the famed Sun Studios, and one of the things that being inside the studio getting the tour, the tour guide had told us, hey, one of the ways that Johnny made this song was, there was no, again, you're thinking about in the 50s and 60s that far back, was what he did was he took a dollar bill and put it underneath the strings, and it created that percussive chugga 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 actually effect on the guitar. So there was a lot of interesting stuff that he went through, and like I said, oh well, great, that gives more fuel to all these solo guitar players that don't really need the rest of the band or a percussion player because you just did a hack job on your little situation.
I saw on TikTok someone took a balloon and blew it up inside their guitar sound hole and tied it to make it sound like a banjo because that percussive. And I tried it the other day at Alamrada, and it was interesting. It sounded kind of like a banjo, but it was so impractical. You couldn't play a chord without it just sounding rank. But you got the right. It made the noise. It made the twang do it.
That's great. So you took the balloon, put it inside, blew it up first,
tied it,
knot, and left it.
If you ever want to do a special edition of Riffs and Rhythms where we just try, I can gather so many just random TikTok hacks or jams and cocktails where we just try a bunch of musician TikTok hacks. That could be a lot of fun.
Dude, that'd be great, dude. You got there, pencil that right there. Take note of that there, so that you got. Look, if
y'all don't do it, I'm gonna do it by myself.
Yeah,
But it'd be more fun with more people.
yeah, that's true. Let's try all these hacks, guitar hacks, and actually see how it actually turns out there. So definitely some good content worthy stuff. So all right, so there was our song review there. So definitely check out our good buddy there, Mike. Again, if you haven't, you don't know Mike, again he was on with the three of us on the Jams and Cocktails show last week, St. Patty's Day. We had a good time. He had a great song, great voice.
What was his group called again? It was Opera.
Iconic Opera. It's his progressive rock tribute band. Mm-hmm. And they're really good too when they all get together. Yeah,
their jam on your show was really good. I was sitting at home watching it. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. Josh is he was just there with his cajon and a shaker, and young guy, probably the same age as you, Mike.
Yeah, he didn't look too much off from me.
And I was like, man, that cajon sounded like a whole drum kit. It was crazy, or a little trap kit.
Very cool, very cool. So Iconic Opera. So again, Mike's got a lot of stuff going on. So you definitely could, if you want to deep dive, Mike's got a lot of stuff to deep dive into. So give it a shot there. So good, there you go. Thanks, Mike, for submitting your putting it out there for us to review the song and tell you whether it's the riffs or the rhythm that made that podcast here for this show here. So all right. So as we're gonna start winding some stuff down here, Mike. So again. We have another segment here that we do very often here, every episode here. We want to kind of recognize, it's a recognition kind of part of the show where we want to kind of talk about, somebody who's really kind of recently just kind of like, man, this person did, really did me a solid, really helped me out, or hey, I had a flat tire, or whatever the case may be. Who do you have, we're going to get, want to know who your MVP of the week is. Who do you got? Who comes to mind?
So my MVP of the week, I've just started becoming really good friends with him. A couple months ago, I was doing an open mic at Hava in Stewart, and there was this gentleman who was a good little bit older than me who came in. It was his first time trying kava, at least I think it was his first time trying kava. We were sitting there talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I play a lot of the places around here. I do like Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that. He's like, oh, me too. And I was like, no way. And then I got to see him play. And then that was the last I saw of him until I started seeing he was playing Tipsy Tiki all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, I know him. And then we linked up and we started talking. And ever since then, he started coming out and jamming out at my gigs. I jam out at his gigs. He's come out to the open mics I host now, which is awesome. It's always fun to have someone that come out and play with you. And he did me a solid this weekend because I had a midterm yesterday. And also I was dealing with multiple family medical things. And I just had too much going on to really go to my gig Saturday night, and Jesse Salvo was awesome. I was like, hey, can you take this gig? Do you want it tonight? And it's a late night gig. 10 to 1 is not for the faint of heart. Especially at a bar on Saturday night when St. Patty's Day is the next day. And he was like, yeah, man, I got you. Don't worry about it. And he's my go-to fill-in for that bar specifically. And yeah, he's massive solid. I'm pretty sure I failed that midterm, but with everything else going on, it's really the last of my worries right now. I'm just glad to have somebody that I could have called right away. And that was earlier in the morning. I was on my way to my other gig when I texted him like, hey, can you take this for me tonight? And he said, yeah, no problem, man. So he's been a good friend. We started doing jams together. He said he's gonna play on the EP for me to do some lead guitar stuff because I suck at lead guitar. So stay tuned. Jesse's a great guy, cool friend. Yeah, that's my MVP this week.
All right, very cool. So Jesse Salvo, I don't know Jesse, but again, so a lot of the same places there you play. So definitely check him out there. So yeah, that's awesome. Where again, you guys know this better than I do. Again, probably maybe some of the or most of the viewers that watch that. It's a really cool community. I think we talked about this recently. I had admitted that I think the Treasure Coast area has probably a better little music scene than Palm Beach County does. Now, Palm Beach County is a very large area, right? You got South, Middle, and North County, so it's a lot spread out. But I think that there's a tighter little knit community of musicians and the music places in Port St. Lucie, Stewart, all over around the area. Fort Pierce, don't want to forget about the mountain music places in Fort Pierce. Definitely a really cool place. So, so Jesse Salvo, check him out there. So he's our this week's House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits MVP of the week there. So check out Jesse Salvo. So congrats, Jesse, there. Thanks for helping our boy out here, Mike. So with that, setting up the gigs. Again, a lot of times, right, you don't want to lose a gig. You don't want to leave somebody, but it's always great that somebody's always there to kind of help each other out, pick up the kids so you don't get kind of stuck and so forth and so on. So very cool, very cool. So as we wrap up here, Mike. So what do you got upcoming shows here? Again, the later, here the towards the end of March here, early April. What do you got coming up?
So like I said earlier, I play Cafe Marnier every Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I also play Island Marauder Brewery every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4. I'm currently working with some friends of mine out of state trying to plan a tour in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia for this summer. It's going to be just a 1-week thing, super quick. It might be longer if I can get enough gigs, but that's something I'm working towards. And hopefully I'll have this EP done by the end of summer. I told myself that I was going to have it done last year. That didn't happen, so I told Brad to hold me accountable to make sure it gets done this year. And Jordan said she'll make sure he does.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So do you got people lined up for this EP? Do you want to have people come in and play different parts, or how?
So originally, and I'm still talking with some of the people that I want to record it. I'm a big fan of just acoustic sessions. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Sugar Shack sessions, which is like a more of a ska reggae style thing, or you have, like, for instance, what Oliver Anthony did, where it's just him and his guitar. That's most of my music. I've been told by people that I am too sporadic to have a drummer because I change my mind halfway through a song a lot. But that's kind of where I'm going for. Is more like an acoustic one-take style. If I can get some buddies just to join in for it, I don't care who comes on it, as long as it sounds good at the end of the day.
Yeah, that is very true, right? So that we're not supposed to follow you. You're supposed to follow us.
Correct.
You know that.
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
I know. Yeah. So yes, it is very.
That's why they call it driving the bus, baby.
Yeah, I know. It is very difficult. Yes, for us to kind of follow, the guitar player and so forth. So, but, that's very cool. So, anything that obviously, I was probably speaking on behalf of Kevin. Anything we can help you out with. Again, if like I said, I told you when we did their song review, man. When you did that, I just shot on your iPhone video. There was like, bro, Mike, you need to put a band behind you because we think again, this is our own take of it, right? So you take it for however it is, but it's always adding that part. And I think a lot of the guys that are, look, Mr. Brad, he's doing very well. He's a one-man band, and that's, will he play with a full band? Sure, if the thing is right, again, you do a duo every so often too, right? So, but again, I think some of it is just, I think, that kind of compliment or that kind of comment, and maybe better to say when I had said that was, is I want to be part of it. You know what I mean? I think that's probably more though. Just kind
Well,
of
if you want
you know what I
to
mean?
come on, the invitation is there.
Hey,
I got
man, hey.
my songs are very, very basic rhythm, basic riffs.
Oh, there you go. That's simple, right?
The
Yeah,
words
there
are
you go.
where it comes
There
at.
you go.
So,
So yeah. So what was that the audition last week on the Jams and Cocktails show?
I guess so. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, we did an Irish song, so I'm sure we can do a country song.
Oh yeah, sure, right. Country songs and Irish songs are pretty fairly so much,
Both folky.
Yeah, you're folky, you're raging against something. Irish songs are usually about, you're raging against the Protestants, the Catholics, and anyway, I want to stop that conversation because we're probably getting demonetized for political religion talk. But yeah, so all right, so check out again. You find them, every Saturday and Sunday at Almirada Brewing up in.
You can find me on any social media at Mike Faurot Music, the number 4 letter O, because as Paul stated earlier, my last name is rather difficult to pronounce when you read it. So just the number 4 and letter O, make it easy, Mike Faurot. Music with no spaces. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. It's on Twitter, X. I never do anything on there except for share funny memes that I think are hilarious or like people falling from chairs because I think it's funny too. And TikTok for as long as that's going to be around. We'll see, but it's still Mike Faurot Music. And I'll hopefully see y'all out at one of my gigs. And if not, check out the Fool's Errand EP whenever it comes out. And yeah, that's all I got.
Very, very cool. So all right, Mike, that's awesome. Again, appreciate you stopping in here this week here as a guest co-host here on the Riffs and Rhythms show. Again, so definitely invitation's always out there. Again, Kevin and I, we haven't gotten to that part yet where we just like, it's almost like, like I said, again, Brad's name always comes up on our podcast because I think he sends us money, Zelle, Venmo, to be mentioned on the show all the time. But, it's one of those like Brad's show that he puts on a great show. Again, if you guys don't listen to this and you haven't checked out his show, check it out. Tune in every Wednesday. Sorry, I'm giving you a plug for you. So, that's what you want, right? You want other people to talk about your stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, Derek. Our co-host Derek on Jams and Cocktails always takes all my plugs.
And he always says that he always tries to do them as Brad. So he'll be like, my name is Brad Brock, and here's my shameless plugs. And Brad's over there in the corner like, I have a script. Let me read it. And Derek's like, no script. We got this.
Well, actually, Brad and Derek are like Schwarzenegger and DeVito, right?
Yeah.
So they almost kind of...
Both Batman villains.
Not identical.
Not to get off topic, but did you see the Oscar speech that the two of them did together where they were like, yeah, we have...
Great. That
Yeah.
was...
We're both Batman villains, and no one was thinking Batman villains. They just said it.
No, everyone thought when they came out, when I saw them their silhouette before they came out, they're like, oh, it's a
Twins
twin
reference, right?
reunion, right? And again, then just start talking about, and then Michael Keaton fucking deadpan face as Batman, and again, you're talking about, it's like, that's right, they did. Well, no, Michael, they didn't fight Michael.
No,
Danny
one was
DeVito.
George Clooney and one was Michael Keaton.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
And the best part of that whole thing was like he's like, Danny DeVito's like, what did Batman use to beat you? And Arnold's like, he used my greatest weakness, love. And then he goes, yeah, he threw me out a window. It's just two incredibly different tonal movies.
I'm surprised DeVito didn't like plug Jersey Mike's or something as much as he's like on that.
Oh my
on that
gosh!
kick there, yeah. No, definitely. Geez, how the hell did we get onto that?
I don't
Thanks,
know.
Mike.
Now I want
guys,
Jersey
sorry.
Mike's.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, we were making reference to Derek and Brad as Schwarzenegger and DeVito there in Twins. But yeah, so definitely check out that show. Like we said, check out the Brad's show there is where we perform and play, and again, good time there Wednesdays 8 p.m. over on YouTube. There, follow, subscribe. Almost ready to hit a 500. Getting almost there.
God, man, I think we need 5 more subscribers. It's unbelievable.
Dude, that is
Follow Jams and Cocktails.
It's all it is to hit subscribe. Drums and Rums just hit 400.
That's great.
So we were getting there. And
If
so
you follow both those podcasts,
Yes.
Danny DeVito will appear in your closet tonight. to
That's
give you
right,
Sweet
yes.
cuddles.
that's fine. Hey,
Don't quote me on that.
that's right. So, all right. So appreciate Mike for coming in and holding down the seat here with us here on the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. Again, we had a great time there. So we need to stay in touch. lot of great stuff coming on. Maybe come back on down the road, but I think that's where I was going with was like with Brad's show is there Jams and Cocktails where it's like hang, right? I think you're starting to like that lounge hang. People just hanging out in the background with a picture, like cool. This is a kind of I'm missing. Not that I'm missing
The
out.
VIP lounge.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's always been the legendary JNC Lounge.
Mhm.
It's always been set up for that. So yeah, it's
I think there's actually I think it's actually cooler being in the lounge area than it is actually in the studio because you're not having to perform, you're not having to do the games, you're not having to be silly. You're just hanging out,
just
right?
hanging out.
I know, probably
Drinking all my booze.
probably drink a lot more than the people that are on the camera because you're stuck in that seat, right?
You know how many Shamrock cookies I ate the other night? That should be a sin.
I'm disappointed there's even any left.
Yeah, so it was great food there, right? So yeah, definitely shout out to the JNC crew there. Yeah, and your lovely wife Jordan holding down the fort really by yourself. Your sister turned up at the right time.
Yeah, right as it ended.
And those lovely, lovely Reuben sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
Oh, they were
that's right.
so good.
Yeah.
My mom commented, she's like, I need to teach this boy how to eat politely in front of cameras. I'm like, did you not see Brad and everyone else eating at the same time? I'm like, I was the only one who put the sandwiches away to play. Meanwhile, everyone else had a sandwich hanging out their mouth as they grabbed their guitar.
It was hilarious. My favorite was seeing all these
And the hot
sandwiches
Oh, the hot sauce, yeah.
while we were in the jam.
Yeah, well, of course, Mike. When you got the guy who's getting to control everything, he's going to make sure the camera's not on him while he's trying to wolf down a little slider there.
I know.
So
I had it like hanging out my mouth with the hot sauce, putting on the next one mouthful.
he's like, "I try that," and then they're fighting over the hot sauce. Him and Mike were fighting over the hot sauce. All right, so again, this is Paul, and this is the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. There, thanks again to Mike Faurot for coming in and co-guest hosting here on the show here. Again, thanks again to Brad Brock for hanging out here with us tonight and we gave Christian the week off there. So again, or Dino, I forgot Dino. So yes, Dino is on vacation here. So we'll be definitely wrapping back up next week. Let me try to think about it. So coming up episodes here, we got the guys from Rain Cats coming on soon also. So Jeff and Brian will be coming on. So that'd be really cool. Talk to those guys from the aspect musicians and also owners of the recording studio, Rain Cat Studios there.
Rain Cat is where I plan on doing those one takes. So
That's-
I've been talking with them about it.
One take, huh? Is that because you don't have enough money to do multiple takes?
Well,
Are you just
I,
that
I am a
fuck-
teacher,
Are,
so
you, are you just that fucking good? Are you bragging? I'm going to do this in one fucking take.
I am a teacher.
Listen to this guy.
I don't know. It's more the monetary thing, I swear.
I get you, man. I get you. All right, so this is Paul from the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. Again, Mike, thanks for hanging out with me tonight there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So cheers. Have a good night, y'all.